The calibration of the GEM 2000. On the GEM 2000, you can perform field calibrations on the unit, and what we want to do is go ahead and power the unit on first. Hit your power key. Your display will come up, and it will give us a power on test screen. And once it tests all of its different functions, testing the pump. It's still in its self-test mode. Please wait. Now the self-test has completed. Instrument gives us a service information screen. And then after the service information screen, we go ahead and hit enter to continue. And if we would like, we can enter our technician ID, but we don't want to enter any information at this point in time. So we go ahead and hit number 1 to exit when complete. Now we have our general readout screen. Along the left-hand side, you'll have your CH4 or your methane readings, CO2, carbon dioxide readings, oxygen readings, and then the balance of the gas. As you see right now, the unit is reading 20.5 oxygen, and the balance is 79.5%. Off to the right of the screen, it gives you more information. Gives a technician name, your your methane in LEL %, and it will also give us our pressure readings, and if we have any exterior port probes connected, what those probes are reading. One thing I do want to point out at this point in time is the tubing that you will receive with the unit. You'll notice one tube is blue and the other tube is clear, and the clear tube has our moisture water trap attached. We want to make sure this probe is this tubing is attached to the correct port. So our clear tubing will connect to our first port, and then the blue tubing underneath that port. And if you look closely at the face of the unit, you can actually see arrows on the unit, and that's your input and exhaust ports. Now to calibrate this unit, we already have our calibration cylinder ready to go. What we need to do is hit our number 1 button, go into menu, and then we'll have a sub-menu or a sub-screen pop up. And the first one is 0 transducers. We want to go ahead and scroll all the way down to where it says field calibration, so we use our arrow key. Highlight field calibration. We hit enter. And then you will get a check calibration screen with some instructions here. And as you notice right now, we have our dash lines, and then we have CH4, CO2, and O2. This is the top line, or the first set of numbers, would be our 0 settings, and our oxygen 0 setting, you would want to have 100% pure nitrogen to zero out the oxygen. And then our second line across here would be our span concentrations. Right now our CH4 is set at 2.5%, CO2 at 40%, and then oxygen at 17%. What we want to do is, if you need to change these settings to match your calibration cylinder, you would hit number 3, Edit Target Concentrations. And if I hit number 3, then another little submenu pops up, and then I would select what I wanted to edit. And at this point in time, I want to go ahead and just exit out of here. I'll leave my values the way they are. Then next, after our span values are set, we want to go ahead and calibrate the unit. So for our calibration menu, we hit Enter, and we have our submenu pop up. And again, we have 0 channel or span channel. And you always want to 0 your channels first, so I select that. I hit Enter. And I'm going to go ahead and just do the CH4, the methane. And we are in clean ambient air. To actually start calibrating the unit then, we want to, before we enter into our calibration menu, by hitting the Enter key, we want to go ahead and turn on our fan, our pump. We let the pump run for a while. We let the air flow through the unit. And when we're satisfied with our 0 gas reading, we go ahead and hit my Enter button. I want to 0 that channel. I hit Enter again, and 0 CH4 pops up. I hit Enter again, and my CH4 methane has been 0'd. Now my next thing would be to perform a span calibration on my CH4 channel. So again, I want to go ahead and turn on my pump, turn on my regulator, and again I have a 0.5 liter per minute regulator attached to my calibration canister. Attach that to the inlet of my pump, let my gas flow. And again, you always want to wait 2 to 3 minutes to make sure you got good gas flow and good stable readings on your instrument. And if you look closely here, you can notice my 0 reading has increased to match the calibration value of my calibration cylinder. And once that reading is nice and stable, again, I want to hit my Enter key to calibrate. It's going to ask me to select. I need to arrow down to select my span. I hit Enter. And right now I want to span my CH4 to the 2.5% as I set it. I hit Enter. My calibration is complete. I go ahead and remove my inlet tubing, turn off my regulator, and then the calibration is complete for that parameter. And again, you would continue in this fashion for each sensor installed in the unit. And then that concludes the calibration portion of the GEM 2000.